Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. We've got an exciting guest today, a return guest. She is a communication designer by profession and is a spiritual, keen learner with a zeal for remarkable design and philosophy. A passionate person, she loves to put life to concepts with powerful communication, strategy, and detail. She believes to possess the creative chakra in our body that triggers to develop powerful communication. Please join me in welcoming Sugandhi Luthra. Welcome, Sugandhi.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for having me.
My pleasure. Welcome back. Are you ready for 20 questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. Number one, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
Okay. So I am a communication designer and I have roughly about 13 years of experience in the industry. And I still feel I've just started probably 2, 3 days back. The journey of design is very exciting. So I kind of feel that it's a never ending journey and it feels like fresh every time I kind of hit any project. I love to kind of combine spiritual concepts and philosophies, combining in the entire visual segment, visual communication, typography, elements of the design that exist. I love exploring all of this via my projects of social media, branding, and events, of course. My last, I would say, years saw me kind of exploring more towards the marketing segment rather than design. But yes, like pandemic kind of saw like a lot of diversity in terms of experimenting with a lot of mediums and people are exploring different mediums and what is it that they're doing. So yes, I'm combining in every aspect of communication design and marketing, I would say.
That's great. Just a note for our audience, as I mentioned before, Sugandhi's a return guest. You should definitely check out her first episode. I think it's episode number 20. But also, Sugandhi and I met in New Delhi while I was a lecturer there, and she was a visiting faculty. We were teaching at the same school and many of the same students, I think. Yeah. Question two, what's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
Before kind of answering that question, I would also like to add that Thomas, you've been very influential way back in college as well when we were teaching. You had a phenomenal impact on the students of combining in different types of art mediums. I remember, so it was a beautiful journey that we had that time, and I kind of still look forward to kind of doing that sometime again.
Yeah,
And yeah, and probably now coming back to the question, what makes me different? I feel my passion of design and exploring concepts, understanding them, accepting them, my love for spirituality, combining in strong aesthetics and concepts make me stand out. I'm a combination of English literature, design aesthetics, marketing. So I feel that that along with the kind of zeal, I feel that I want to spread positivity and happiness around all the time. I believe in empowering people wherever design aesthetics are weak. I believe in empowering the design aesthetics and believe that every detail is a conscious decision related to the whole. So it's the simplicity of empowering the design aesthetics kind of along with my other philosophies that makes me stand out.
that's great. As I introduced you, part of that introduction mentions the chakra, and I'm really interested in the connection between spirituality and design. So that kind of really stood out for me.
Right,
Um,
right.
yeah. Number three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
um, I feel more that the communication design, and I think the appropriate term I would say is content creation. So content creation is something which is very interesting, that you can keep on exploring of whatever you want to. And the entire concept of combination, as I just said before, the entire concept of combination of the visual communication, the strategy, adapting different music and spiritual philosophy. So this entire combination I love exploring, and it keeps me on all the time. I never kind of lose interest. So it's like, if I'm not creating content for social media or for my projects, I feel like I'm missing out. So content creation is a great way to connect with the audiences and know things and learn things.
That's great. Content creation, I feel like it can almost be its own category now. When I was studying design, you had two options. It was communication design or industrial design. And now there are so many things. I was recently a guest on SFU's podcast, where I was talking about design futures. And I know some people study design futures now. We had a great guest, Dr. Marco Bevolo, on who talked specifically about design futures in his episode. But I'm really fascinated with how there are so many different kinds of things that designers can specialize in these days. Definitely content creation is among those.
Right.
Number 4, what does your future look like?
So I'm a person who takes life by its day, of course, having certain goals in mind. Future looks promising. So I believe in being positive, and once everybody sees or witness positive changes, it's because you're feeling blessed. It's because you have a abundance mindset. So I see myself spreading positivity in terms of whatever I'm doing. I I see myself of setting up some kind of a platform for the design community, wherein I am lessening the gap of any skill sets or shortcoming faced by the new entrants, or the return back professionals, especially women. So maybe empowering them through the needs, maybe giving them a mentor platform. So I want to kind of come up with a platform where we are able to kind of empower wherever the shortcomings are.
That's super exciting. At this phase of post-pandemic or pandemic and post-pandemic, I think a lot of people, especially in design education, are thinking about how to create these new platforms. We've been so engulfed in thinking about Zoom, thinking about in-person, what's going to happen with Zoom, what's going to happen with in-person. And I think a lot of kind of entrepreneurial spirits are definitely thinking about how to create these platforms. That seems like a next kind of evolution of what a designer does for me.
Absolutely.
Number 5, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Right. In a world that we are in, that is increasingly getting connected and is connected, um, I see it as no surprise that social media is changing the way when we think about location and place. So within few clicks we can know about what our friends are doing and share about new destinations that we are visiting. So location kind of nowadays is all about connectivity, wherein we can find about what's happening in the places our near and dear ones are, or if you want to tap a certain place. A location has a major role in uh, kind of defining what is there in a mind, and how we can kind of demonstrate that through our work. And I feel social media has made it very very simpler, and made the world even more smaller for the locations. So I believe locations can inspire us in a lot of ways, and a designer of course is impacted through culture, through patterns, through type cases. And in today's time, you can actually sell a location like a whatever design or whatever post that is a social media post, you can actually target that as a location. So yes, location itself is a concept that we could explore.
That's super interesting. I have some new ideas about location as well. I opened up academic Mark Augé's book about non-places again, and he talks about how our home space now is defined by having a computer and a TV, and just having those two things kind of are the key pieces of what defines home. And so it kind of transcends the geographic place, and our geographic place can be anywhere now. That's kind of an aging idea, I think, but I think it does have some truth to it. And especially with the evolution of VR, I think that's going to influence how we identify with place and how we identify with home as well. Number 6, if you had to start from scratch, what advice would you give your former younger self?
I think I had a lot of fears, and I wasn't very open to kind of risks. So I would say that no matter what life throws your way, it's important to stay positive and crazy enough to explore about your future, believing in yourself, staying focused on your goals, being grateful for what we have, and being grateful for where we are headed to, surrounding yourself with positive people, choosing a mentor for yourself. I believe that's very important. Practicing positive self-talk, um, and I would say completely harnessing the potential of abundance mindset.
Great. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Number 7, what's a day in your life like?
My day starts with waking up and being in silence for the first few minutes, then practicing affirmations, searching for quotes, scrolling, social media, quick for the headlines, I would say, hunting for my family. We are widely spread, and for friends, of course, who's doing what. Then I begin with my multitasking of the motherly duties and the home management, and then defining the tasks for the day, both for the home and work. So this gets, when I wake up from 8, this ends by like a 11 a.m. And in the last 2 years, I'm kind of practicing mindfulness of taking breaks and trying the Pomodoro technique, that I'm defining a goal and taking a break. So yeah, I'm practicing nowadays.
Great. I love that. You mentioned quotes there, and it makes me think of some of the latter questions in our podcast questionnaire. For the audience out there, if any of you are liking the questions and think you might want to be a guest, we're always open to looking for new guests. Please approach me about that. Number 8, lifelong learning is a popular topic these days. How do you stay up to date?
I think I previously said this as well, and I would say that in today's time, it's very easy to be updated. So I would say, some like I've had some positive habits. My mother had instilled reading in me. So I don't remember how young I was, but I used to read newspaper very regularly, scrolling through the headlines, learning vocabulary. So I think I would still say that reading every day, it's very important, especially the books. So exploring books, reading the books, reading the industry publications, keeping an eye on the industry specific trends. And I think staying active on social media in itself brings along a lot of learnings. So, a quick scroll through Twitter or LinkedIn feed can give you so much of a good ideas of what's new in the industry, who's doing what, who are the influencers, and what is it that we could learn. And I think attending various industry meets, and there are like happening online meets nowadays. So it's great for networking as well.
Absolutely. I found out about the platform called Clubhouse recently and attended a super great session in there with Debbie Millman and Paula Scher. Paula Scher is kind of a graphic design legend for those of you who don't know. I was so excited to be in the same digital space with her. It's not something that happens very often.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I met Polisher in one of the design meets. It was called Curious Design Exchange way back in, I don't know, was it 2006 or 2007? So I had the privilege of meeting Polisher there.
Yeah, I know about Curious. That's a great effort that they do in India.
Yeah.
Number 9, what tools do you use? Are you a digital nomad?
So being a designer, we were taught the Adobe applications. So I still see myself exploring Photoshop, Illustrator for my projects. And of course, the latest softwares are great tools for lessening the effort. Tools like Canva. There are a lot of few scheduling softwares. There are platforms like HubSpot, and I think it's a great tool for being out there in the digital time that we are living in. And I would say I'm a digital nomad. And it's very cool of I think I'll say the pandemic has given rise and strengthened this entire space of being a digital nomad. So who knew that why hybrid work culture will be for real. So I'm definitely a digital nomad.
That's great. I've been kind of pushing my digital efforts recently, with Creative Cloud and specifically InDesign for my typography work. It's such a great tool for typography.
Yes.
We're halfway there. Number 10, how do you deal with work-life balance?
So I'm a yoga person, so I was not getting time, and I wanted to kind of break the monotony of continuous sitting. So I practice yoga in the middle of the day, so that I am on my toes. And the entire I would say a forced multitasking, that working out of home. So it's a boon that also enables me in creating that balance of watching things from a distance, and being able to complete a lot of tasks while being at home. So I think that entire combination of being at home and being able to work when and how I want to is a space that I can create balance. And I would say pandemic has been a blessing.
Nice, I like that. Number 11, if you weren't doing what you do now, what would you be doing?
I can't imagine myself in not doing what I'm currently doing, but maybe I could have shaped myself into more of the spiritual space or in the education space. So we were teaching, so maybe I could have just got into fine tuning that more.
Nice. Yeah, I spend so much time posting on social media just to keep my audience up to date. And sometimes I wonder if I should be doing that. But if I skip a post or if I turn off the post for a while, it doesn't feel right. I feel like I have to connect with my audience. I feel like there's a sort of necessity of that now.
Yeah,
So yeah, I definitely don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing that.
absolutely, absolutely.
Number 12, what do you not like to do career-wise?
um, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I had been procrastinating and had a lot of fears. So I'm careful to now watch my self talk, and I want to stay crazy and kind of explore things. If there's any new thing that comes up, so I think one should kind of explore that. So yes, not to procrastinate, I would say.
Nice. 13, what's your favorite word, quote, or sentence?
So I believe in having a good time while doing what we love. And when we do it out of love, we never get bored of it. So I'm excited to learn all the time, and I try to maintain that spirit.
Great. 14, what's your least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
I believe in not using any negative words. Words have their vibration. So, any negative word, I feel sorry is a negative word. So, sorry, hate, lazy, excuses, all these are negative words. We might say that, we hate a certain thing or the weather is not good. But what we don't realize is the vibration that is created out of it. So, we often hear the quotes that, no more complaining for a week or for a day, see the changes. So I believe that they're words that, we should not be using them.
You and I are the same like that. I do that too. Number 15, if you had to pick one word to describe yourself, what would you choose?
I don't know why I see a symbol for myself, which is like a tree. So trees ever flowing, a symbol of positivity, growing and shedding. It's a sign of ambition. So I feel it describes me and my drive to succeed, because it encapsulates my determination to achieve my goals. So tree is something that I kind of associate myself.
16, what keeps you up at night?
The constant desire to learn something new about the latest happenings, or thinking of my projects. You've been you never know what the deadline is, and if the deadline has happened, probably you've submitted and you've completed a project, but you still keep on exploring that. Probably if I use some other color, if I use some other font. So I keep on assessing if a social media post that has gone out, it could be in better some way. Maybe the hashtags could have been better. So it's a never ending thing. And I think I sleep like that for the last 13 years. So, various themes in the mind of uh, how your social media calendar could look like. And of course, Netflixing, that doesn't let you sleep, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I love Netflix. Number 17, what's a dream you're chasing?
um, I'm constantly trying to set new goals for myself, and pushing myself to reach there. So I'm determined to set influence from what I'm doing, my talks, my works, which drive me to perform the best that I can be. So I'm always looking for ways to improve, and just keeping myself better.
What inspires you?
They're strong women, and of course we have influencers who define never quitting attitude, along with showcasing their real struggles. So I recently started reading Atomic Habits by James Clear, and previously finished the Ikigai. So books are a great way to kind of inspire, and setting the mindset you want, and expanding your journey. So I think they kind of set a world within you and outside as well.
For sure, reading books, talking to people. It sounds simple, but if you do a lot of that, you really up your game. Final stretch
Yes.
here, number 19. Any advice you'd like to share?
Never quit, never say never, and no overthinking.
Nice. And finally, number 20, how can our listeners keep tabs on you? How can we check you out?
So I'm present on LinkedIn, of course, by my name, Sugandhi Luthra. I am present on Instagram via two handles of Basking of Divine Love and Silver Tree Design Studio. So I'm present on these platforms along with, of course, the other social media handles of Twitter, Facebook, and active on the communities as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Sugandhi. I love a lot of what you're talking about, but in your intro, talking about the chakras and how design and spirituality connect. I love your choice of favorite word being a tree. I think that's a super emblematic kind of iconic thing that it can be very memorable for us, and everything related to your life pieces, I think are going to be super exciting for the audience to kind of go through. So thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for having me.
Bye now.
Yes, thank you. Bye.